Sorry this wasn't out Monday. I started a new job this week, and that's it's kind of a hectic schedule. But next week I should be back on track. So enjoy. Demon's sleep was uninterrupted thanks to the sleeping drugs, but the second they cut off, "Get up!" he heard as a feminine voice screamed into his ear. "Son of a!" He tried to blurt out before a hand slapped him on the side of the face. That seemed to get him back to his senses, and he opened his eyes. Rosaline was standing over him, in the same uniform he had seen female Beacon students wear. Kira was standing over at the door, books in hand, looking back at Demon and Rosaline. "What do you want?" he replied, in a slightly groggy voice. "We have 5 minutes to class," she screamed before running back to her bed, picking up her books and running out the door with Kira. "Gee, thanks for the help." He quickly got up, checking his scroll for what classes he had, and picked up the books that Ozpin had thoughtfully provided. He turned Sid on, set him to follow mode, and casually walked to class. As he strolled through the corridors, he saw that he was literally the only person walking around, everyone else already being at class. He had to check the map multiple times to see where he was going before he just hacked into the system and uploaded the schematics to his HUD. He finally managed to make his way to the class he was supposed to be in, Professor Port's. He knocked on the door and heard a "come in," and opened it to see the class before him. It resembled the normal classroom from his home planet, except the large ring-like teaching arena at the front. He saw the teacher, and immediately regretted coming to this school. The man had a massive handlebar mustache and massive eyebrows that completely covered his eyes. He wore a typical military uniform with a large amount of medals hanging off to the left. "Not another one!" "Well, hello. You must be the new student. And why might you be late for class?" "Sorry, sir, I was using sleeping drugs to get a good night's sleep. I was unable to wake at the proper time, therefore unable to make it to your class on time, and for that I am sincerely sorry." "Well, young man, that is entirely understandable. It reminds me of the time." Demon just decided to zone out at that point. He had already heard enough veteran stories, and had made a few of his own. As he looked around the room, he saw that Kira and Rosaline were sitting next to RWBY, Weiss-Yang, and the other one. He looked to see Jean waving a hand at him from the other side of the class, a red-headed female sitting to the right of him, with hair that seemed to go down to her waist. He made his way over to the spare seat on his left and sat down, Sid following him, and standing against the wall. "Hey, nice to see ya," whispered John, while the professor continued his rambling. "Yeah, same back. What did I miss?" asked Demon as he unfolded his actual workbook. He's basically drones on like this for the entire class, without about 30% of it actually being useful. "Ah, so he's one of those people." Before Jean could reply, Professor Port called him to the front. "Mr. Demon, I see you were having a nice natter with Mr. Ark over there. Why don't you come down here so we can see if you deserve to be skipping on valuable information?" "Sure thing, sir," he replied, while smirking behind his mask, and cocked back the hammer of his wingman as he walked down. "You mistake me. This will be an unarmed fight." "Ha! Weren't expecting that, were you?" He reluctantly put the pistol back on the table and walked into the arena. As he was walking down, he saw 3 of the members of Team RWBY were smirking, excluding RWBY herself. He stood at the far right of the arena, while Professor Port stood at the other end, a large cage next to him. "Now, Mr. Demon, you will have to take out this Grim without your weapon. Are you ready?" "Damn right. Good luck," he mocked before slicing the lock off with a weird blunderbuss axe combination. As he did, a strange matte black pig thing lumbered out. He looked to the right of him, seeing the picture of all the Grim, and found it was called the Borba Tusk. "Okay then, this is getting boring," He smirked at his own joke. Okay then, Piggy. Time to run home. It snorted at him before curling into a ball and spinning towards him. Crap, he thought, before activating his stims and barely dodging the rolling death ball. Go for underneath it. There's no armor there. He heard a cry from the crowd. Probably Ruby. Yeah, right. Direct course of action is better. The Borbotus turned around after finishing its run and began scratching the ground with its front hooves. Come on, buddy, hit me! And with that, the Borbotus charged again. This is going to hurt in the morning. Instead of jumping out of the way, he waited for the right moment before jackbooting it right in the snout. The other students watched in awe at the pure force behind the kick. Sure, he had his poor core kit to enhance it, but it was still impressive. The front of its head caved in from the impact, and its foot continued through until it hit the base of the spine. As an added bonus, it didn't just stop where it had been. The force on the kick had negated its charging speed and caused it to slide about 5 feet backwards. Remarkable, simply remarkable, said Professor Porridge as Demon walked up to his seat again. Before anything else could be said, the bell rang, signaling the end of the period. Finally! He quickly grabbed his stuff, signaling for Sid to follow, and walked out the door to his next class. As he checked, he found that it was with a Professor Oobleck. Just as he was walking to the next class, Weiss sprinted up and tapped on his shoulder. How did you do that? She asked, a hint of anger in her voice. Yes, but... Up. No, I don't want to hear it. You just refuted your own argument. I win. But, she managed to blurt out before her voice was drowned out by the loudspeakers. Would all second-year students please report to the landing pad for your next lesson? Would the 4 new students please enter your combat gear? As everyone was looking at the loudspeaker, he activated his cloak, silently moving through the crowd, turning only to see Weiss looking around angrily for him. He deactivated it as soon as he was out of sight and made his way to his room. He put away his LMG and picked up the amped Kraber AP. He next went to his personal pod and grabbed a few extra clothes for his wingman, Kraber, and Sidewinder, making his way to the landing pads afterwards. Somehow, he was the first person to make it to the landing pad, seeing Ozpin Goodwish standing there. What's up? He asked as he jogged to a halt in front of them. Well, wait and see, replied Ozpin, a grin spreading over his face. Demon stood there and waited to see the rest of his team catch up. Sir, you know I cannot track you with cloak initiated, commented Sid as he walked up. Yeah, I just gotta get away. Yeah, I just had to get away from Weiss for a second, he replied while seeing the aforementioned person storming toward him with an angry look plastered on her face. Crap. She walked straight up to him and slapped him across the side of the helmet, causing him to have to take a step back. Threat detected, droned Sid as he raised his carbine to fire. Reset threat levels, toned Demon as he held his hand on top of the Spectre's gun, stopping him from firing. Yes, said Demon rather sarcastically, as he turned back towards Weiss. I was talking to you and you just left. Yes, I did. Did you ever think that I didn't want to talk? Yes, but did you have to be rude? No, I didn't. If you really want to know why I use this, it's because I need to be better. If not, then I'm dead. So I have to ensure I can kill the other guy first. You're just a murderer, you know that? She said, putting her hands on her hips. Yes, I bloody think about that every day of my life. And I am not a murderer. I'm a soldier. A murderer kills in cold blood, never even remembers the people they kill. A soldier, on the other hand, they kill to make sure they save others. I remember the face of every single person I've killed. It haunts me every day of my life. And if I could, I wish I could bring them back. But I can't. You don't know what it's like to have visions of people's last moments. The only reason I haven't killed myself yet is because I know I can make other people's lives better. Even if mine has gone to hell. She couldn't even think of something to say. Her mouth just opened and closed, trying to think of something. Next time you go poking into other people's business, don't judge someone by their titles or actions. Most people have reasons for what they do, and not everyone is happy with them. And with that, he left, walked over to the other members of his group, leaving Weiss to contemplate what she had just heard. She looked over at Blake, the ex-White Fang member, and thought how she had given her a chance. Maybe this guy deserves one as well. Her thoughts were interrupted by Osmond stepping forward and addressing everyone. Good morning, students. If you haven't already noticed, we have some new members within your grade. He gestured for the four to come forward. This is Kira Dirk, Rosaline Centaur, their robot Sid, and finally, Demon. As you all know, you must pass an initiation test to be accepted into this prestigious academy. So today, these four will be completing theirs. Kira and Rosaline both turned to him, with looks of surprise crossing their faces. Demon simply stood where he was. Great, a chance to finally prove myself. There will be participating in an initiation similar to the one you partook in, except they're trying to enter as second-year students, so it'll be slightly harder, continued Ozpin, watching the students' expressions. So if you would like to enter your designated bullheads, you will be taken off to the cliff where you will watch the new students participate and for them to partake. As soon as he had finished, a message was sent to every student scroll to prompt them which bullhead to head to. They all began filling in except for Demon, who set Sid to follow Kira and walked straight up to Ozpin to clarify a few things. Hello, Demon. What might you want? He questioned, taking a sip of coffee as he did. Just wondering, perhaps I'll be able to use my Titan? I'm sorry, but I can't allow that. Sir, with all due respect, the meaning of my rank of pilot within the military is because I'm a pilot of a Titan. Without it, I'm just a normal soldier. He stroked his chin for a second before turning to Goodwitch. What do you think, Glinda? I think you should be able to use it. After a certain time, she replied. That should work. Okay, Demon, you may use the Titan after 1 hour. You may go and get it now to be transported with the bullheads. With a smirk, Demon just pressed a few buttons on his arm screen. No, that's okay. I don't need to get it just yet. In an hour, maybe? He walked off to the bullhead that was marked with the waypoint on his HUD. He had completely given up on using the scroll and instead linked it to his HUD and arm screen. It made life a lot easier. He climbed into the side entry and sat down to the nearest pilot. He turned and saw the three others of his makeshift team were sitting near the back, already in their harnesses. He pulled down the harness and waited for takeoff, setting his guns on the seat next to him. The engine whirled to life, and the hatch began to slowly close. Just before it was shut, it suddenly stopped and began opening again. What's wrong? He called to the pilot. Takeoff's been denied. We got some extra passengers. I thought everyone got on the bullhead. I thought everyone got a bullhead. As the door opened again, the form of Ozpin slowly came into focus. Hello again. I just thought you could use some company, he said before walking off. And Demon's world shattered. Again. As he walked off, the four members of Team RWBY climbed into the bullhead and reluctantly strapped in. Well, this is going to be a long journey.